Hello my Asian friends. Today we are at Carlo Meroni in Valpolicella. We go to meet Carlo at his wine estate.
Ciao my friend!
Ciao Carlo!
You're welcome! How are you?
Good, good to see you. Good to see you. Good
It's a pleasure for me always. Okay, my friend, let's go to the vineyard to see the grapes, and then
Perfect.
we discuss about this harvest, this vintage, and the quality of this crazy summer, because it's quite crazy.
Good.
Rain too much, and unfortunately arrived some hailstorm 15 days ago.
Okay.
And probably we lost around 20% of the production, but we make a big selection now in the middle of September when we start the harvest time.
Okay. So Carlo, tell me, where are we? What is this beautiful place?
We are in Senja estate. Senja is one of our estate in Sant'Ambrogio Hill, because we have two different estates, this one and another estate in that hill, that is La Grola Hill. We are in Sant'Ambrogio village. Sant'Ambrogio is one of the 5 villages of the Valpolicella classical area. Because when we speak about the Valpolicella classical area was born in the Roman period, when the Roman Empire arrived in the area and said this is Valpolicelle, from Latin word means exactly cellar valley. From that period the area became Valpolicella. And the historical area is only 5 villages: Sant'Ambrogio, San Pietro in Cariano, Fumane, Marano and Negraro. If you go in that direction after that hill, after La Grola Hill, we have the Adige River and then the Bardolino area and the Garda Lake.
Yes.
This is the west border of the classical area. The east border of the classical, of the traditional area is Verona, the line is Verona city.
Okay.
After that we have the new area for Valpolicella, Valpantena, Val di Lasi, Val di Marcellise and the other, but that area was born around 1960. It's very young,
yes.
It's very different in a soil, it's very different in a taste. Probably more powerful, but different. Here we have more elegance and more traditional way.
Yes, good. So Carlo, your family name is Meroni.
Yes.
So it's the Meroni Amarone. So tell me something about your family.
The story is very long, because the company was born in 1935 when my grandfather arrived from Milan and buy a part of this company. In that period is only 6 hectares, and from that period we start to make a wine in the area. After my grandfather, my father, and now I and my sister,
yes.
Katia.
Great.
We have 12 hectares enough now in Sant'Ambrogio Hill in total. We have a small part of forest, because for us it's very important, the tradition, the territory and the natural balance in all. And we have another small part for olive oil, for olive plant is around 500 plants of olive.
Okay, good. So Carlo, we are now in this beautiful vineyard of you. Tell us and take us with you, what about the grapes, the way you harvest. Tell us a little bit more about the Meroni.
Yes, okay, we are inside the property. Inside the property, in the Senja estate here, we have only the indigenous grapes, only the autochthonal grapes from the area, and we use in our wine only that, because for me it's really important the tradition and the territory of the area, because the law permitted to use other grapes inside, but for me it's crazy. And I have only the Corvina, Corvinone, Rondinella and Molinara grapes inside the property, and we don't buy the grapes to the other. because
Okay.
for me it's very important to work in a good way here in vineyard for have a good product in cellar. The
Yeah.
secret is here. The secret is the soil, the secret is the grapes, and the secret is the natural balance of the valley. That is really important for the quality. Here we can see some grapes. For example, this one. This grapes is totally round. It's simply to understand because the name is Rondinella, and the grapes is really round, really round. If you go in this direction, probably we find, not here, we find the other grape, and is like an oval, and that is Corvina and Corvinone. Corvinone is biggest,
Yeah.
okay, and Corvina is smaller, but is oval grape like this. See, is really oval.
Yeah.
It's not round like the Rondinella. The other one now is difficult to see here because it's like a Rondinella, but the color when the grapes are ready for the harvest is really light. It's like a rosé, and that is one is the Molinara grapes. Molinara is really important because it's important for the acidity. The Rondinella is important for the smell of the wine, and the Corvina and Corvinone is important for the structure of wine. Now, in this moment in vineyard, the grapes start to take the color. We are a little bit in late because unfortunately arrived a hailstorm, and when arrived that the plant stopped the maturation for around 10-15 days. We can see here, for example, here arrived the hail and destroy the grapes. The problem is that because the problem is when we pick up these grapes in the middle of September, because the harvest here is normally start around 15-20 of September, it's not possible to use this kind of grapes for the Amarone. We use this one only for the Valpolicella, because after a hailstorm it's not possible to use, because if you take these grapes for natural drying process, it's dangerous for the mold after. For example, this one is perfect grape for the Amarone Recioto production because it's really sparse. It's not compact, and during the natural drying process, the air go inside and dry naturally, and that is the secret of the Amarone wine.
Exactly.
Here we can see the two different growing methods, because here we have the Guyot method or Spalliera in Italy, is like this. Okay, and over there we can see the oldest method in the area. The oldest method, Roland, is a pergola method. Pergola is the most common method in the north of Italy, because if you go, for example, in Trentino direction, we have pergola Trentina. In Verona is pergola Veronese. It's really common in the past and in the north of Italy, but now I prefer the Guyot because we have more plant, but the quantity for plant is lower than in a pergola one. Pergola is like this.
Then the plants grow really over.
Exactly. Now when we start the harvest, we start probably at the end of September, if the season stay like now. The first selection we make is the selection for the Amarone Recioto production. We discussed about that before, about the grapes. We search only the best grapes, perfect grape, without break on a bunch and very sparse, not compact, absolutely. For example, this one is perfect. This one is not perfect because I have some problem from hail. This one is perfect. This one is perfect. This one is
too close.
Okay. No, this one is quite okay. The problem is for the grapes, like for example, like this is too compact, and Okay, the quality of the grapes is good, but it's not good for the Amarone Recioto production. In this case, we pick up the grapes and we press immediately for the Valpolicella wine, for the base wine, for the everyday wine.
Yeah. So we talked about the vineyard. Now we want to see the drying process, because this makes the Amarone that special.
Absolutely, yes. Now we go inside and we discuss about that.
Good, good. So now, Carlo, you're going to tell us about the secrets from making the Amarone.
Okay, the secret of the Amarone is the selection in vineyard, because it's really important to search only the best grapes.
Yeah.
And that is not simply, and that is a reason, because in the past, in every village, during September, all the people arrive for make the harvest time. It's like a big community party, okay? And in that period is the women, because the women have a very, very perfect idea of the beautiful grapes, not the men. That is the work for the women. And now it's not simply to find a good person for pick up the grapes, because all the work is hand by hand here. It's not possible to use a machine, because the machine break the grapes.
Exactly.
And it's very, very difficult work. And it's very difficult to find the person, and normally we have the same person every year for that reason. And normally we start the harvest when after a taste of the grapes in vineyard, we decide the grapes arrive to the perfect balance in all. A balance in acidity, in structure, and the grapes is really crunchy in the mouth. It's not simply to understand, but if you come next time during the harvest time, you understand when you eat, when you taste the grapes. Is the most important moment probably for the quality of the wine.
Good.
Okay, we start the selection and we search in September the best grapes, sparse grapes. We discussed about that before, without break on a bunch. Really beautiful, if you see. Really amazing, like that picture, for example. That is the perfect grape for the Amarone and Recioto production. The people search the best grapes, put the best grapes in one line in a box here. The box arrive here and go upstairs for natural drying process. Only the air from the mountain dry naturally the grapes.
So this you have to explain a little bit more, because normally you pick the grapes, you crush, and you make the wine.
Exactly. In every place in Italy, if you discuss, for example, about the other important wine in Italy, Barolo, Brunello, or other expensive wine, that wine is made with the fresh grapes, because the people pick up the grapes, press the grapes immediately, distemp the grapes, and the liquid and the bunch go in cellar for fermentation and maturation.
Exactly.
Here we pick up the grapes, we put the grapes in one line in the box arrive here, go upstairs for natural drying process, remain in natural drying process for normally 110 days. For example, last year we pressed the grapes 26th of January, for understand. The year before, 10th of January. A very, very long period, and in this period we lost around 30-35% of water. That is a reason, because Amarone is expensive wine for that, if you wanted to drink real Amarone. That is the way, that is a unique way. After that long period, we press the grapes, distemp the grapes, and go in cellar for fermentation and maturation process.
Okay. Let's go to the cellar.
Absolutely.
So, Carlo, tell us about this drying process.
The drying process in origin is on this big bamboo racks, like that. The name of this is Arella in the area, and this is the best method for dry the grapes because on a bamboo table, the bamboo absorb if you have some humidity on the grapes or if you have some humidity in the air, because the humidity is really dangerous for the quality of the grapes, is dangerous for the mold up of the grapes. And the second reason, because this method, this old method, this original method is the best, is because you have more air in contact to the grapes. If you compare to the modern way with the plastic box. And the result after drying process is really, really different in a taste. Unfortunately, it's not possible to use every year because the arella is a second step, because we pick up the grapes on a box in vineyard, and then the box arrive here and we retake every grapes and put on arella. But if, for example, rain too much in September, the grapes became big and became fragile. And it's not possible to retake every grapes and put on arella, because in that case we have a break problem. And if you have a break, we have mold. After the harvest for the Amarone and Recioto production, because the Amarone and Recioto is made with the same method, we pick up immediately the other grapes for the Valpolicella wine. We press the grapes outside, distemp the grapes, and the liquid and the bunch go in cellar in the end of September for fermentation and maturation process.
Okay,
let's go.
Let's go. So Carlo, the grapes arrive in the cellar, and what's happening then?
Okay, the grapes, the Valpolicella grapes in this case, because it's the first arrive in stainless steel tank for fermentation and maturation process. Because arrive only the liquid and the skins and the bunch. During the fermentation, we move the wine from here to the top because we want to maintain the same temperature inside the tank. And the fermentation is around 20-25 days for the Valpolicella wine.
Okay.
After that, for the Valpolicella, when the fermentation finish, when all the sugar involved in alcohol content, we divided the wine to the skins. The skins go in a press and then go for make a grappa. And the wine remain in natural decanting for around 30 days.
30 days, okay.
In that 30 days, we move the wine from one tank to the other because we want to take out the deposit. After that, we divided the wine into different parts. 50% go in barrel, 50% remain in stainless steel tank for around 1 year. After 1 year, we reblend all the wine in stainless steel tank for the control, go in bottle, remain in bottle normally for the Valpolicella around 30 days, labeling and go in the market. This is for the first wine. The second wine we make is the Valpolicella Classico Superiore. Valpolicella Classico Superiore for the law is one Valpolicella after 1 year aging and minimum alcohol content 12%. This is an old rule because now the alcohol level in Italy, but in all the world, it's go up. And we have a big discussion in this period in consortium for change the rule. But when we make the Valpolicella, we use a different method because we love the tradition, we love the story, we love our gold, and our gold is our soil, our terroir, our area, our grapes. And that is a reason because we want to start with a big structure from the grapes. That is a reason because when we pick up the grapes during the harvest time, we dry the grapes like the Amarone, but only for a short period, for a short appassimento, 30 days.
Only 30 days?
Yes. In 30 days, we lost around 7-8% of water. And have more sugar, more structure inside the grapes. After that, we press, make the fermentation and maturation like the Valpolicella Classico. And after fermentation and maturation, we divide the wine to the skins, and the wine remains in natural decanting for 6 months in stainless steel tank.
Okay.
And after go in barrel for 3 years, 3 years and a half, for a very long period, because some Amarone in the market is in the market after 2 years.
Yeah.
But that is impossible if you speak with an old winemaker in the area, because the story is really different than that. That is the modern way. After 3 years and a half, the superior return in stainless steel tank for the control, go in bottle, remain in bottle 6 months for refining, labeling, and go in the market.
Good.
In total is around 6 years after the harvest time.
Making this wine, 6 years.
Yeah, it's absolutely
mia.
a long story.
Yeah.
And during that period, the wine sleep in cellar, and every year we check 2 times the wine, taste and control the barrel. It's a very hard work.
Yeah.
But if you want a very elegant wine, that is really important. Wait a perfect moment for a perfect quality in bottle.
Good.
The third wine we make is Roland is the king of the area. Is the Amarone wine. Amarone is not the oldest wine in the area, because the first bottle with Amarone on the label arrived around the Second War. Before exists only the sweet version, only the Recioto wine. Wow. Why? The reason is quite simple, because for the Amarone Recioto, the process is the same. We pick up the grapes in the end of September, first 20 days of October, natural drying process from there to the middle of January, and in January the temperature is quite cold. The fermentation in the past naturally starts because the grapes have a big natural sugar inside.
So already start.
Yeah, but naturally stop because the temperature is really cold. In the past, when we speak about the 4-hour other method, the wine stay outside. The temperature is cold. The fermentation, start because the grapes have a big natural sugar, but naturally stop. Remains some sweetness in a wine. That is a reason because it exists before the Recioto. It's not possible in that period to complete the fermentation process. We don't have a technology for that. What happened? The wine remained in that container for the other season. Arrived the summer, arrived the hot. The wine restarted the fermentation. From sweeter situation, arrived to a bitter situation. From the Recioto was born the Amarone. That is the reason because Amarone means exactly big bitter, in opposite to the Recioto, because Recioto is sweet.
Yeah, it's very sweet. Yeah.
When we make the Amarone now, we press the grapes in the middle of January, make a very long fermentation and maturation process, normally around 60-65 days of fermentation and maturation. And after that, we divided the wine to the skins. Skins go for make a grappa wine, remain in natural decanting for 6 months in stainless steel tank, because I want a really clean wine when the wine go in barrel.
Okay, Carlo, then we go for the last wine you make. It's the Recioto, which is a really special wine from this area.
Absolutely, because Recioto is the oldest wine from Valpolicella area and derived from the Roman period, when the name of the wine is Retico and then became Recioto. Some people said is Recioto from the rece, from the small part of the grapes, because that is the best. It's sparse, is really perfect, is really sweet, and normally is ready after a long time, after the harvest time, normally 15 days after. And that is the best part. And there le recette per il Recioto. Le orecchiette, le recette means in Italy for Recioto.
Good.
When we make the Recioto, we use the same method to the Amarone wine. Dry the grapes from September, first 15 days of October to the middle of January. After that, we make the fermentation and maturation. But in this case, the fermentation and maturation process is faster than the Amarone fermentation and maturation is around 15-20 days, because we search to stay from 70 to 90 gram per liter of natural sugar inside.
Whoa.
Because we want a sweet wine, but not very sweet. Because Recioto in origin is a welcome wine when arrives some friends in a house. It's not a dessert wine, because it's not good with creamy dessert, not good with the sweety dessert. It's perfect with biscuits, for example. It's like a tea in UK, in Valpolicella, we open a bottle of Recioto during the afternoon when arrives some friends in a house.
Okay.
When we make the Recioto now, we make a short fermentation, normally 15-20 days, because we search normally to have the sugar level around from 70 to 90 maximum of natural sugar inside. That is a reason because after 15-20 days we stop the fermentation. We divide the wine to the skins. Skins go for make a grappa. We freeze the tank for around 1 month, and then the wine go in barrel for 1 year, 1 year and a half. Only 1 year, 1 year and a half, because when we drink the Recioto, we search the fruity and the freshness, not other sensation like in Amarone wine.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, clear.
Okay, now we discuss about the barrel.
So Carlo, after the fermentation process, we're going to talk about the barrels.
Yes, the barrel is really, really important for the maturation of the wine. And the traditional barrel in Valpolicella is 20-25 hectoliters. Slavonian oak is not a toasted barrel, like a barrique, like a small one, but is a normal wood. That is because with the barrel we don't search wood tannins, but we search the fineness and the elegance in a taste.
Okay.
And we use the oak because the oak is the unique, really noble wood for the wine.
Yes.
The other is
forget it.
Yeah, absolutely, because the porosity in the oak is very, very small.
Yes.
And that is the reason because the oxygenation goes slowly inside and the maturation go really, really slowly. And the Amarone stay in barrel, for example, for 5 years, 5 years and a half minimum for that reason.
Yeah.
The life of this kind of barrel, if you use in a correct way, normally is quite long because it's 40-45 years.
Okay.
In a correct way means with the same kind of grapes inside, and every year is important to check the barrel inside.
Yeah.
That means the wine go out in stainless steel tank for 1 or 2 days, and we check and clean eventually the barrel inside, and then the wine return in maturation process.
Okay.
Every 10 years, we scratch 1 millimeter and a half inside the barrel, and the barrel is like new, because it's not toasted, and it's important to scratch and restart to make a good maturation for the wine. After 3 or 4 times, became too thin here. And it's not possible because you have more oxygen inside, and that is not good for the quality of the maturation. And the other problem, sometimes the barrel break apart when you scratch and re-scratch.
Okay, so oak barrels.
Yeah, absolutely. Oak barrel, not toasted.
Good. So Carlo, I see this glass on the barrel. What is this?
The glass up of the barrel is really, really important for check the level inside. Because the oxygen directly to the wine is dangerous for the oxidation in wine. And normally when the season change, the barrel drink and the level go down. And that is the moment to refill the barrel with the same vintage if you have, or with the next one, because it's possible to use a different vintage to maximum 14% in the Amarone wines. It's the wine of the angel, because every year the barrel drink around 3% of the wine inside.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's for the angels. It's for
yes,
the angels.
it's for the angel in cellar.
Yeah.
Here we have the oldest wine in cellar now. Is the vintage 2012. It's a special reserve. It's a special reserve, riserva del fondatore, in honor to the fondator, and we make this kind of wine every 10 years.
Okay.
Around every 10 years, for example, the vintage before is 2003, and we decide normally when we taste and retaste the wine, if the wine have the honor to become Riserva del Fondatore, and in this case the wine is staying in barrel for 8 years, not for 5.
8 years.
Yes, and then we release the wine after 10. During these 8 years, normally we put inside all the 14% to the other vintage, and that is the secret of the wine, because it's like a blend of different Amarone.
So we have to wait till 2022.
Exactly.
Before we can taste it.
Absolutely yes, for the new color collection Riserva del Fondatore.
Great. So now we are back at La Cantina dei Meroni, and we have this beautiful Amarone here. So please tell us a little bit about the new vintage.
Okay, finally the wine, and we can taste and not only discuss about the wine, but we taste and drink the wine. We have the new vintage, and Valpolicella Classico is the first wine.
Yeah.
Very traditional, Corvina, Corvinone, Rondinella and Molinara. We don't use other grapes inside the blend. The law permitted to use 10% of other grapes, but for me it's very important to use only the indigenous one, only the native grapes. And the name is Senja from the area here in the back of the building, from the area, from the terroir, and the alcohol level is 12.5. The vintage is, this is 2019, but we released the new one in, I think, 2 months, the 2020.
Okay, good.
Valpolicella is simple wine, everyday wine, is good for aperitif, like now, my friends. Or with the simple food like salami in Italy, pasta with simple sauce. Or in the summertime, it's possible to drink a little bit chili with some fat fish or other things.
Good, good.
After the first wine, we have the second one, Valpolicella Classico Superiore. Valpolicella Classico Superiore is made exactly with the same grapes. Corvina, Corvinone, Rondinella, Molinara with the same percentage. We discussed about that before. Here we dry the grapes for 30 days and after stay in barrel for 3 years and a half.
Yeah.
Have more intensity, more structure, but more elegance.
Yes.
It's a perfect wine for medium structure food. For example, some meat or with steak is not a problem because I have very good acidity. Alcohol level is 14.5 and have a very, very good balance in the mouth.
Good, nice.
For me, it's one of my favorite wine because when Amarone sometimes is too much in a dinner or in a lunch, with this wine you have the elegance for drink with the simple food, but we have the structure for stay with the importance.
Exactly.
After that we have the king, the Amarone wine, the new vintage 2013. A very, very, very original and traditional Amarone. We use the same grapes to the Valpolicella and Valpolicella Superiore, but in a different percentage. 35% of Corvina, 30% of Corvinone, 25% of Rondinella, and 10% of Molinara grapes. This wine stay in barrel for 5 years and 2 months exactly, and is a very, very powerful wine, but with a very big elegance.
Yeah.
It's perfect with baked steak, braised meat, game meat, or aged cheese with really important food normally. Here we use the traditional bottle of the area with the 6 stamp here.
Yeah.
5 stamp is the 5 village of the Valpolicella classical area, and the 6 stamp is the patron of Verona, San Zeno.
Okay.
Only the producer of the classical area. Can use
this bottle.
Sant'Ambrogio, San Pietro in Cariano, Fumane, Marano, and Negrar can use this kind of bottle with Amarone here and the 6 stamp on the top.
Great.
Now it's quite young because normally this kind of Amarone arrive at the top after 2 years in bottle.
Okay.
And we release normally the Amarone after 1 year. And arrive at the top after 2 years and then remain in the same condition for other 8-10 years, and then start to change. Because the wine start to the soil and return to the soil in a taste after a long time. The best moment for drink is not simply, depends what you search. If you search more fruity, the best moment is before. If you search other sensation like soil, like for example tobacco, chocolate, that kind of sensation,
it's after 8-10 years.
Absolutely yes, but you can drink this kind of wine after 10, 15, 20 years. It's not a problem.
Great. Yes, perfect.
And then the last one is the Recioto. The Recioto is sweet, but not too much because sweetness stays in the middle. In the vintage 2016, the sugar level is 84 grams per liter of natural sugar. It's a perfect wine for normally blue cheese, almond cake, chocolate, not with a creamy dessert, but is in the area is in the past is a welcome wine. And the alcohol level is 13.5, and you can drink a little bit chili because it's sweet but have a good acidity, and is fantastic wine when arrive some aperitif like now, my friends. Or with the simple food like salami in Italy, pasta with simple sauce, or in the summertime it's possible to drink a little bit chili with some fat fish or other things.
Good.
After the first wine, we have the second one, Valpolicella Classico Superiore. Valpolicella Classico Superiore is made exactly with the same grapes. Corvina, Corvinone, Rondinella, Molinara with the same percentage. We discussed about that before. Here we dry the grapes for 30 days and after stay in barrel for 3 years and a half. Have more intensity, more structure, but more elegance.
Yes.
It's a perfect wine for medium structure food. For example, some meat or with steak is not a problem because I have very good acidity. Alcohol level is 14.5 and have a very, very good balance in the mouth.
Good, nice.
For me, it's one of my favorite wine because when Amarone sometimes is too much in a dinner or in a lunch, with this wine you have the elegance for drink with the simple food, but we have the structure for stay with the importance.
Exactly.
After that we have the king, the Amarone wine, the new vintage 2013. A very, very, very original and traditional Amarone. We use the same grapes to the Valpolicella and Valpolicella Superiore, but in a different percentage. 35% of Corvina, 30% of Corvinone, 25% of Rondinella, and 10% of Molinara grapes. This wine stays in barrel for 5 years and 2 months exactly, and it's a very, very powerful wine, but with a very big elegance.
Yeah.
It's perfect with baked steak, braised meat, game meat, or aged cheese with really important food normally. Here we use the traditional bottle of the area with the 6 stamp here.
Yeah.
5 stamp is the 5 village of the Valpolicella classical area, and the 6 stamp is the patron of Verona, San Zeno.
Okay.
Only the producer of the classical area.
Can use this bottle.
Sant'Ambrogio, San Pietro in Cariano, Fumane, Marano, and Negrar can use this kind of bottle with Amarone here and the 6 stamp on the top.
Great.
Now it's quite young because normally this kind of Amarone arrive at the top after 2 years in bottle.
Okay.
And we release normally the Amarone after 1 year. And arrive at the top after 2 years and then remain in the same condition for other 8-10 years, and then start to change. Because the wine start to the soil and return to the soil in a taste after a long time. The best moment for drink is not simply, depends what you search. If you search more fruity, the best moment is before. If you search other sensation like soil, like for example tobacco, chocolate, that kind of sensation,
it's after 8-10 years.
Absolutely yes, but you can drink this kind of wine after 10, 15, 20 years. It's not a problem.
Great. Yes, perfect.
And then the last one is the Recioto. The Recioto is sweet, but not too much because sweetness stays in the middle. In the vintage 2016, the sugar level is 84 grams per liter of natural sugar. It's a perfect wine for normally blue cheese, almond cake, chocolate, not with a creamy dessert, but is in the area in the past is a welcome wine.
Yeah.
And the alcohol level is 13.5, and you can drink a little bit chili because it's sweet but have a good acidity, and is fantastic wine when arrive some friends.
So, Carlo, I really want to thank you for this tour around the Meroni vineyard, the Meroni winehouse and the Meroni cantina. Mille grazie, and I hope we see each other soon. Salute.
Grazie, my friend, but the last thing is very important because the line of the wine is Il Velluto.
Ah, okay, tell me.
And Il Velluto is not a fantasy name and means velvet, but the name Il Velluto arrived from the dedication to the Veronesian poet.
Okay.
The unique, really famous poet from Verona area wrote to my grandfather in 1943, in the middle of Second War, and said, "Dear Meroni, we received the Sant'Ambrogio made of velvet, which we drank to your health. In this universal confusion, we can assure you that your bottle are the family pharmacy."
Wow.
That is the reason, because we take out velvet Il Velluto and put on a label and put here the picture of the poet, Berto Barbarani.
That's great.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Salute.
Thank you. Salute.